Hey everybody, welcome to Neil Talks. My name's Neil, and it's time to talk The Expanse. We're getting the ball rolling in the second book of the series. Last episode kicked off the second book with the realization that we are not done with the proto-molecule. Earth is putting together a scientific mission to go to Venus to collect samples and see what it is, because the generals still think it's just some Martian weapon. We also have the sample that Naomi and the rest of the Rocinante left in the belt. Naomi and Holden had differing opinions about what to do with that sample, and Naomi tricked Holden into thinking she has destroyed it, but it's right where it was originally. She's preserving it because she believes it's necessary to keep a sample, so that we may need to engineer an antidote or a vaccine or something. We need to be able to study this, but Holden believes it just needs to be destroyed. It's too dangerous. I don't honestly know which one is right, but Naomi's acting opposite Holden, even though they're a couple. They're one half of this very small Rocinante crew. I worry about that being discovered, what that may do, not just to their relationship, which is fun, but the dynamics of the crew as a whole. I love that Chris Jen is going balls to the wall, trying to track down Jules Pierre Mao. She is not going to let him off the hook for this. Yeah, there's hell to pay with her. I love the energy that she's giving off in this new story, and I'm super curious to see where that goes. We also got a really interesting flashback last episode, the birth of the Epstein drive. And I don't know whether we're going to go back to that timeline at all, because it ended sort of tragically. It was discovered by this guy who was just tinkering, trying to marginally improve the efficiency of his engine on Mars. And something happened, which he's not completely understanding, that 1,000 times more efficient and effective, and it also killed him, because he wasn't prepared to deal with the G-forces that it was going to create. He wasn't able to shut off the engines or turn around because he couldn't reach the controls, because he turned off his voice-activated command system because it was a cheap Chinese knockoff or something, and he hurtled out into space. But the record of his modifications was available to his wife, and that was the birth of the Epstein drive. But no one's explained to me yet exactly what these modifications were, because he was so incredibly surprised. You don't accidentally, I talked about this last episode, you don't accidentally create a jet engine when you're tinkering with the propeller. So what exactly happened? Is there some external influence in the birth of the Epstein drive that hasn't yet been revealed? Unclear, but I'm curious, and I'm wondering whether we're going to dive more into that now, or whether that flashback from last episode was just kind of a curiosity stimulator. In any case, I'm excited to jump back into the story. This is episode 7 from season 2, and it's called The Seventh Man. Actually, before we jump into it, let's also talk about what happened on Ganymede, because Bobby's team is probably wiped out. She seems to be still alive, but some sort of alien was hovering over her when we cut to black last episode. That might have been glowing blue, might have been some sort of proto-molecule creation, maybe. Or maybe they just had a gunfight with Earthers. I guess we'll find out. Oh. No cold open. Blood snow. Oh, we're still with Bobby. So the whole greenhouse facility looks destroyed. Is that the blood of her teammates? Oh. Target unknown. Oh, okay. They're Martian.
We estimate over 3,000 dead and thousands more wounded.
We need to choose an appropriate Martian target in response. Christian?
We invite Mars to a peace summit.
A peace summit?
They'll never match our numbers. They're not idiots.
They were the aggressors on Ganymede. So what
Were
was
they?
that?
Fear.
You'll never sell it to the Security Council.
You will sell it. Because you saved Earth from Eris.
We all know who really did that.
And whom do I serve?
Your father was smart.
You're smarter. Smarter than Aaron, right? That's for sure.
Ganymede Station refugee ships are now arriving at docks 3 and 7. All personnel, please report.
Oh, wow. Refugees everywhere.
Good to see you against the terror. Until then.
Oh. Dawes is back. Does Fred Johnson deal with Dawes?
Anderson Dawes.
He's back.
Tribute to him every time we parked on Ceres.
Belt attacks.
Oh, is that what he calls it? He used to call it a shakedown, and now he's practically running Ceres.
About time a belter was. See?
Remember the camp?
You're already friends.
I said one each. Back off.
Oh.
Leave my mother alone! You leave her alone!
Oh. That triggered. I need to know more about Amos.
Gunny, I'm sorry to be the one to tell you, but no one from your team made it.
What happened?
I was hoping you could tell us.
6 Blues. They were coming right at us. No, wait, it was the 7th. Lieutenant Sutton, he would have picked up on it.
Lieutenant Sutton was killed with 11 others on this run.
Dr.
Holy
Cooter,
crap.
they changed your brain with that procedure. When did you decide to make it permanent?
That first day, within 5 minutes, I knew I'd never go back. It was painless, you know. The procedure. If you're interested.
I didn't say that.
The proto-molecule. It only moves forward. As we must. You want to be that real boy again. To feel how you felt before the world broke you. Stomp out those last embers and you'll be free of it.
You can understand the temptation, but the result is frightening.
The OPA just saved Earth. And if that is not sufficient enough to earn their respect, we have their missiles. And that is our ticket to the table. A unified belt must send a representative that speaks for all of us.
Arthur who thinks he's a belter goes home to Earth.
No, the belt needs a born belter to be its voice. Anderson Dawes should represent us.
Yeah. Not many people will be opposed to that.
I would be honored to represent the belt.
How well do these guys know each other personally? Okay.
Fred Johnson has proven himself to be a true friend to the belt. But as much as I fear war between Earth and Mars, I fear the peace more. For that is when they will turn their sights back on all of us. They see us as their possessions. Animals to test their new weapons on. We must find out what it was.
It is my hope that someday we will know the whole truth of Eros. But we believe that we have destroyed the threat. We killed the madman who made that weapon.
Johnson says that we are safe.
I was on Eros. The threat has been eliminated. And those missiles you have, returning them will show that the belt is ready to lead the peace.
James Holden, Gratna.
Brother. But perfect.
The best Earth has to offer us are coming to our fight. And idealism is a luxury of the inner planets.
Maybe.
You were on Eros too, yeah? You think this is over?
She knows it isn't. I like that scene, though.
I have a feeling Fred and Dawes have a history.
Which is why you should have stayed out of it. If Eris rammed into Earth, wiped out half of your people, then you'd know.
Oh. We've seen these before. Perception pills.
Let's just focus on the facts. 7 blues in a line coming hard at you.
The seventh man, he was behind them.
Was he chasing them?
Sounds like you're saying Earth initiated the attack.
That's what I'm saying. Yes.
Who's the seventh man?
Fucking Earth has attacked us. They want a war. We'll give them a goddamn war.
There was gunfire, but I don't feel like it was being directed to the Martians.
I don't think the Martians will give you one.
They didn't give you one either.
Legitimate salvage. What do you want?
To know the part of the story that you and Fred Johnson left out.
You want to paint me as one of the bad guys because I'm an Earther? Have a great time.
Good and bad, don't get distracted by that. It will just confuse you. Good men do bad things, like Fred Johnson. And bad men do things believing it's for the good of all mankind.
We nearly lost Earth in all of this too, you know.
And yet there she is. Fred Johnson is tactical. He wouldn't offer me up to the inner planets or be willing to return Earth's missiles so readily unless he had another card to play. You remind me of someone. Just missing the hat, that's all.
Miller.
We are in this together. Otherwise, we're all lost.
Oh? Is this going to be a similar ship to the Rossi? Oh, this is still the Sirocco. What are they?
Eddie's Captain Martins. MCRN Command is going to need your cooperation with the investigation on Ganymede, but you can speak off the record with me if you want. Tell me what really happened. And we were on high alert for anything in that area. There was no drone over your position.
No, that's not right. I saw it.
What do you think it saw? What did you see, Bobby?
We've come a long way since the loading docks on Ceres. Hey, Molly?
You don't get to call me that anymore, Pampa.
It's hard to find good people.
I prefer it here.
If we're going to reminisce, let's at least get a drink, huh?
We will toast to Fred Johnson's secret weapon.
Oh, she's going to take one now.
It sharpens your mind. 7 UN Marines charged your position. Is that correct?
7 blues.
The seventh man, he was chasing them. The UN Marines, they weren't firing at us. They were shooting behind them, at him.
Yeah. They were being chased by what?
I'm so sorry.
Sergeant!
The seventh man, he wasn't wearing a vac suit.
That's enough.
Not a man. But this guy knows what that is, and he doesn't want that to get out. Maybe.
He says it's talking to him. He says there's more proto-molecule out there.
Could it still be alive on Venus?
Well, does he know where?
Not yet. But he's gonna find out.
And then what?
And then we'll have it, and Cortazar will help us understand it.
The nightmare starts over.
No. If the belt has the proto-molecule, no one will ever use it against us again.
How do you contain it?
I better keep my eye on you. Soon your legend will be better than mine. Important station like that.
Sasake, no time. Fred Johnson just want people. Scientists.
It's hard to feel we matter out here, isn't it? The distances are so vast. It's hard to believe that we can make a difference.
In recognition of your extraordinary service to Mars, MCRN Command has awarded you the Purple Heart.
They kept Earth medals.
Earth and Mars are meeting for an emergency summit. You'll tell them your story. Tensions were high. In the confusion of a communications blackout, your team fired first.
Sir?
What?
They fired first. Maybe not at us, but they definitely fired first.
Sergeant, this is bigger than you.
That thing was driving them
I
forward.
don't want to hear any more talk about a thing, Gunny. Are we clear?
So what's the thing? Is it related to the protomolecule? Is that what our guy on Tycho is sensing?
The UN has demanded your direct testimony. When you get there, you'll tell them your story.
When I get there.
Sergeant?
You're going to Earth.
You're going to Earth.
You get to feel 1G. What's he doing? Oh. Is he out? Did Dawes break him out? With Diogo's help.
Lock down every berth. No one leaves without my authorization.
Okay.
Give me eyes on Dawes' ship.
Docking clamp release, above 38C.
Override it.
Can't do. System's locked out.
Did she help with that?
Dust off now.
Copy that. What's wrong?
Is Amos with you?
I don't know where he is. Get your ass down here.
We'll lose him if you wait. Just go. Go!
Just the two of them. Okay. Alright. And the chase begins. And Rossi's chasing after Dawes. Whoa.
They cut their drive.
Widen out your visual. Try and reacquire.
Got him.
Hang on. Prepare the PDCs.
We cannot shoot him down.
Not down. Out.
Oh, those guns. So badass. So what's the plan? They're shooting them out?
Steady.
Disabling their engines?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
If it comes down to it, I go low, you go high. Open our door on my mark. Ready?
Who is it?
Don't shoot, boss man.
It's Diogo.
You got me. Just me.
Decoy? Decoy?
We lost Dawes. He's got Cortazar. They're gone.
Was it a decoy ship or did they take a pod or something? Ah. Okay. A lot's happening. Dawes is back. I think that's the headline. Dawes is back. I've had questions about what the relationship between him and Fred Johnson has been since we first met both of them, because they're both higher ups in the OPA, but the OPA is so full of all these different factions and stuff. It's more an ideology than an organization, and they have different ideas about what the OPA, about what the belt needs, about the best way to get it. And Fred will never have, as much as he has respect amongst the belt, because he's originally an Earther, he'll probably never have the full-scale support that would be necessary to unite the OPA and the belt into a unified bargaining, into a nation that can bargain with Earth and Mars instead of being at the whim of Earth and Mars. Dawes, on the other hand, is running for president, basically. And he wants to know about the protomolecule. He wants to know what Fred's secret weapon is. Fred's willing to give up all these missiles. What else does he have? Because he's not going to give away his only negotiating asset unless he's got something in reserve. So what Fred has is Cortazar, the one scientist left over from Dresden's team, the man who probably understands the protomolecule more than anyone else in the system. And Dawes just broke him out. And where did they all? I'm still not clear on whether they all escaped in that one ship and somehow parted ways, and now it's just Diogo, or whether Diogo was the decoy in that ship, and Dawes escaped with Cortazar in another one, or whether they're still somewhere on Tycho. That would make zero sense. They'd be findable. But yeah, I love that we're getting a lot more OPA lore. I love seeing Dawes in any scene, but especially seeing him being political, which, let's face it, is most of the time, is really entertaining because he's got such a strong position. Fascinating to see what he's willing to do with it. Tensions between Naomi and Holden, primarily because they too have differences of opinion. Holden's that Earther. Holden is the Fred Johnson in the relationship. Naomi probably has more sympathies has more thoughts in common with Dawes because she's a Belter born and raised, and she has those sympathies. She always has had those sympathies, and Holden can tell that there's some unspoken stuff going on under the surface there, in addition to their verbal disagreements. And we got kind of a recap of what happened at the end of last episode on Ganymede with Draper, with Bobby. We're revisiting it with the aid of these focusing drugs, and we're getting the detailed story. And yes, it was 6 UN forces running towards the border, the UN Mars line, and they were firing the weapons, but they weren't firing them at the Martian Marines. They were firing them at something that was chasing them. And I think we can say for certain it wasn't a 7th man anymore. It was a thing. And we got a better view of that close-up as it hovered over Bobby, too. It looked like an animal. Like almost werewolf-ish, a little bit human, but definitely animalian. Certainly no suit. It's got that blue tinge that makes you automatically think proto-molecule. And we do know that there is more proto-molecule out there, at least if we take Cortazar at his word, because he was sensing it. He's talking to it. Now, there's multiple options for what that could be. Maybe it survived the crash and burn up through the atmosphere of Venus. Maybe he's sensing the small sample out in the belt that's still there, or maybe he's sensing whatever it is on Ganymede. But the thing about what we saw on Ganymede is as soon as Martian Command got that story out of Gunny, they knew what it was and they hushed her up about it. They would rather say that Mars fired first by accident than that Earth was firing first, but at something. They don't want to say what the something is. You would think that Mars already is aware of this, whatever it might be. But what is it? Is it proto-molecule related, or is it something else entirely? How close is Ganymede to Phoebe? Is it possible the proto-molecule has been on Ganymede for ages and has evolved into whatever we want to call that? Call it the 7th man? Maybe. I don't know. Nobody knows anything about the proto-molecule except Cortazar, and he's in an odd mental state. But Gunny's going to Earth for this peace summit. She's going to be in a room with Christian, which I think is awesome. But she's also going to Earth for the first time. She's going into the enemy camp. She's going to experience 1G for the first time. She's going to be face-to-face with Earthers. Has she ever been face-to-face with an Earther? No, she's just been subject to propaganda from birth that happens when you're living in a Cold War. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I'm really looking forward to what happens next episode. But throwing Dawes back into the mix, I really feel is just a crazy wild card that I hadn't accounted for. You kind of forgot about him because we haven't seen him since we left series back in season 1. And now he's back with a vengeance. And he's taking control in the belt, and Fred might be losing control of Tycho, and who knows what else. Who knows what else. Is the OPA going to get a seat at the table on Earth? If Dawes delivers Fred's missiles safely back, will they get a seat at the table? Will anyone listen to Andrew? Will Christian listen to Dawes? I want to find out. So I'm going to go watch that episode now. You guys are going to have to wait a week until I get it edited and out there. And thank you for your patience. I appreciate all your comments and your support. This show is so much fun to react to. I know I geek out about it, but I think it's a show that appeals to geeks. I know a lot of you feel the same way, so I love the community I found here. It's been a blast so far, and I love that there are 6 seasons of this, because it means I'm going to be doing it for a while, and I'm thrilled with that idea. So, until next time, everybody, take care, stay healthy, we'll see you soon. Cheers.